And hi, Kevin. Kevin Pollack
Kevin Pollack has entered the studio.
Please don't get up.
With his Raiders of the Lost Ark T-shirt.
Yeah, that's a good one. Vintage.
Is that an original or is that one of the new ones they make that kind of just looks like retro?
I think it's retro bullshit, yeah. Yeah.
I want to start by telling Kevin I saw him in Red State, man.
How about that?
I fucking liked Red State.
Didn't see that coming, though, my thing.
No, not at all.
I don't want to say too much.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, exactly.
A lot of firepower in that movie.
That's why I shouldn't say too much.
A lot of firepower in that movie.
Actor, comedian Kevin Pollack.
Yes,
That's what I like saying.
Easy.
Hey, you've been in some big ones, man. You've been in some great friggin' movies.
well, let's
My
talk
batting
about...
average is shit, but I have been in some good ones.
You've been in some good ones, man.
Before we go to the older ones, Red State is going to
Red
be all
State.
right. It's going to find its audience, I think.
Yeah, it has already.
And we're really good friends with Kevin
Yeah.
Smith, so
Yeah.
we're excited for him in the new movie, Red State.
How can you not be? I mean, if you like him already.
And he even got his wife involved. She was firing all over the fucking place.
It's true.
His wife's in it, and she's doing a really good job.
Yeah.
As a religious freak that has to shoot the bad guys.
He likes popping the wife in the movie so often.
Well, that might happen.
Yeah.
Oh, popping the wife?
No, he likes popping her in the movie.
But she also...
Not popping her in the movie, which would mean having some kind of sex with her in the movie.
No, or popping the wife.
Or shooting her in the movie.
That might happen. You're going to have to see Red State for yourself to see what Kevin does to his wife in the end.
I had
Kevin
to back
Smith, not
off
Kevin
following him on Twitter a little bit. I love him.
He does tweet.
Because he talks a little too much about ass play with the wife. I was like, and on Twitter, and I thought, this is great. Good for you. But I don't know that I need this in my life. Now. I'm having cereal.
Yeah, it's like,
Does he bang his wife in the ass?
Is what he's tweeting.
Nice.
He does tweet that he...
Found a new follower.
Amy likes the ass play tweets.
All right.
Amazing. She loves them. Kevin, though, has been in like some just classic movies.
Sure.
Fucking Casino.
That is
which was a great one. Usual Suspects.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Which was
Few Good Men.
another amazing. It's like how that.
That's right.
Suspects, it's lightning in a bottle, that movie, and if you need, you needn't any further proof than the fact that Stephen Baldwin's really good in the film.
Yes, there you go.
Yeah.
So
It's a
you're just saying,
goddamn
like,
miracle.
Yeah.
anyone.
I mean, he's really good.
Anyone can be
And
good
then
in
like
that
a
one.
lemming, just right off the edge.
Yeah, that's it. One and done.
How are you able to do that? Go from comedy into, and I know I've seen comedians go into acting, and it's a few movies that are like, but you getting into some prime movies.
You got to suck the right dick. I'm not going to lie.
Is that it?
All right.
Yeah, I
I've
knew
always
that.
said it's got to be the right dick.
Yeah.
No. That's not it at all. What
So
am I
they're not
talking
gonna
about?
be on the
That's not what happened. Wait. How did that come out of me?
Well,
no, it's a lot of times it's just sheer right place, crazy sort of thing. Hundreds of auditions first where they say, how about anyone but you is going to get this
Oh,
part?
really?
Literally? Oh, yeah. Oh, God, yeah. Because I came from stand-up comedy and I had no formal training. I really didn't know what the fuck I was doing.
Oh, so you are a stand-up first.
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That's why. Like the first time I saw it, and I think it was in Usual Suspects. It was kind of like, what the fuck is he doing?
That's
in
what my
this?
friend said, too. All my friends said, what the fuck do you think you're doing?
What are you, an actor?
You're not a badass.
Oh, you're an actor now.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Or just that my character was a badass. So they were like, nah,
Yes.
this is bullshit.
Yeah, you're
when
like
you
a
get up in
badass.
Baldwin's face and say, do you want to dance? Shut up. Yeah, none of my friends could handle that at all. They thought I was a complete tool.
You know what I loved in Casino? I thought was so great was the lighting that Scorsese did. The lighting in that movie is so
Bob Richardson.
fucking amazing,
Yeah.
and what an interesting choice and thing to do. It's
This DP, Bob Richardson, he did A Few Good Men. I worked with him twice, but he did all of Oliver Stone's stuff. And he's
should we explain
worked
to
with
Amy though
Scorsese.
what
I know
this
what
DP
DP
is?
is.
It's a
Oh,
different
sorry.
DP
Right.
than yours.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm
I'm talking
confused.
about
Director of photography.
I'm talking about double penetration.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
See, then it is the one that she
it's the
knows.
same.
Yeah.
We speak the same language over here.
Amy likes to jerk off guys on cruise ships.
On cruise
apparently.
ships.
I was listening. We were all
But
all
hey, he
there.
brought up the ass play, which sometimes does not feel like play at all.
I wouldn't think.
It's ass work.
Ass
It
work.
really is.
Ass job.
Before we get back to Kevin, a lot of guys want to know why you didn't blow the guy on the cruise ship and you only jerked him off.
Oh, it's simple. I was 19. I was not good at all at giving blowjobs, and I was embarrassed.
That's okay though.
It's
you know,
honest.
but I
It's
had
honest.
It's
hands
an
of
honest
steel.
answer.
Yeah, I learned later.
Bad one.
Now I'm a goddamn
steal.
Hoover. I know what I'm doing, but
You're really good.
at the time, it just would have looked like an old person trying to eat their peas. You know, just like a lot of trying to hide your teeth. And,
God damn
spitting all over yourself. Trust me, he got the better. He got the better deal.
Better to just take the handy and the all-you-could-eat shrimp.
Yeah,
and
that's
got
right.
the better memory.
The midnight chocolate buffet.
19-year-old came at me
He went
like
and saw the magician, and then I made magic with my left. So
that would have been. You're right. You made a wise choice.
Yeah.
What a horrible experience for him it would have been for a 19-year-old old woman to come out.
No, it would have looked like the end of Awakenings. Like nobody wants me near their cock at the time.
Oh no! When he's trying to build the house and he just keeps knocking shit over. Oh no! The medicine's not working.
It's wearing off. Oh boy.
How awkward.
Robin, you lied. You were great in Awakenings, by the way.
Thank you very much.
I loved your scene.
Thank you very much.
Yes, of course. The incomparable and famous impressions of
dear
Kevin
God.
Pollock.
Oh,
We all know him.
No, it's annoying. It's
it
annoying.
really no. They're fantastic.
You know what stinks is that you'll like I ran into your guy's pal who I love, Jay Moore, and I was telling him that he was the first one to do Christopher Walken, and I was saying, I said at one point you had a conversation with me because I was with Chris McCoy, the guy that wrote Usual Suspects, and we ran into Jay and we were like, because Chris does a great one too, we were in Jay's face saying, what's the secret? What's the fucking magic? And Jay said, every single syllable word becomes a 2-syllable word when doing Walken. So the word no becomes now. And Jay was the master, and then I started doing it, and then Kevin Spacey did it, of course, and now there's like 10,000 people that do, and so it became like the Nicholson of the 90s, So it's weird doing the impressions when somebody sort of lays claim to something, and I'm always like, listen, go to the original person. I'm a facsimile.
Because you absolutely have claim to the Shatner. I mean, I don't think anybody has done. That's your
that's like, what? This is
so now nobody can do do Shatner.
I do your Dana Carvey and I started out together in San Francisco in the late 70s, and we got our Carson from Rich Little. I mean, it all comes from somebody,
the best Carson, but it seemed like
but never funny.
After a while Rich never funny.
Oh God,
and it seemed like Rich after a while everyone became Carson.
Yeah.
Doing an impression of Nixon or Carson doing this guy.
He did a lousy Rich Little did a very lousy Pink Panther though when he tried to do Clouseau, and he did a really long one, and it was just awful,
horrible,
and awful. I thought Steve Martin's was bad. He was fucking terrible.
They come out with that suit with the lapels like a fighter plane wing, and
then I have to go to this. It's like just fucking humiliating yourself.
I liked the growing up. I liked the turnaround impressionist where they would turn around and come back. That is
Frank Gorshin used to do that.
Frank Gorshin was the turnaround
David
guy.
Fry,
Did he start that?
Nixon.
They would do something to their hair. They would muss it up and then turn around and hey, here comes the impression.
But you forgot this sounds a little.
And they would go, and I think it would go something like this. It's just so.
I was so aware, even at a really young age, that those guys were complete fucking hacks. Even when I'm like 12 years old, I thought I am never going to do Jack Nicholson as a busboy. You know what I mean? That's just not going to happen. So I would create scenarios, like I did the Star Trek thing where Shatner was him and everybody else on the Enterprise had been replaced by somebody famous. So Reverend Jim Ignatowski was Spock. You know what I mean? It's that kind of bullshit. But and then now I just talk about how I've ended up meeting these people, which is really fucking weird because that was never the plan. I was just going to mock them and then not meet them, And so I talk about meeting Christopher Walken for the first time. He got one of the hands and feet in cement in front of the Chinese Theater in Hollywood Boulevard, right? So they asked me to be one of the 2 speakers, which is fucking crazy because I'd never met him, right? I mean, I couldn't help think, well, how far down the list did you have to go?
How many no's did you get?
I mean, exactly. Because I knew they had at least a half a dozen no. I mean, Quentin Tarantino was the other speaker who directed him in Pulp Fiction. They know each other. So what am I doing? So obviously I'm there because of the impersonation. This is ridiculous. So they take me inside the theater where they're waiting to go out front, right, for the ceremony. And I see him and he goes, hi. They told me you were coming. Thanks. Thank you. Thanks. And I'm thinking, he's doing the voice.
Yeah, that's the guy.
And it's way better than mine. And then that's the fucked up thing is that, you meet the actual person and you're suddenly a retard. I mean,
and
you're instantly an idiot.
Sometimes the impression goes over so well, and then you actually see the person doing it, or maybe even on television you'll see him and realize, wow, I really don't sound like the guy.
No,
but so why is this working? Like, why does this impression work?
You tap into something that the audience did.
Yeah,
the person, absolutely.
It's very odd. Shatner was a cool person to meet. Like the first time I met him.
Oh, yeah.
Funny guy, and just sitting there, he was talking about a talk show or one of the projects that he had, and I would not stop, because I've been a Star Trek geek my entire life.
Oh, yeah.
And I wouldn't stop just pounding him with questions, like very detailed questions on episodes. No matter what he would say, he got so fucking annoyed with
that's
me.
the sketch.
But it was funny, yeah.
Of
It was great. It was like really a lot of fun.
He was annoyed
He'd talk about something, I'd be like, just like when you went to Rigel 7, and he's like,
you didn't.
And he was just like, I don't remember these things. He was mad at me. He's like, I don't remember these things.
He was mad because you had more knowledge than he did.
Yeah.
On his own show.
He genuinely didn't care.
Right, yeah, I think he was
did
just
not
like, get
give
out of
a
here.
shit about that. And I was like, the Wrath of Khan, the emotion that came out between you and Spock on that, because I don't care, it was a paycheck. It was just, but it was very fun and had a great sense of humor about it.
That was the turning point in his career when he went on Saturday Night Live
And did that
moment.
Get a life, yeah.
Yeah, you people, get a life. Yeah, that was it. Because you're like, wow, he's in on the joke finally.
Yeah, finally in on the joke.
Yeah.
How was I heard Tom Cruise said something about when Nicholson, when they did fucking The Few Good Men,
Yeah.
everybody was kind of like, when he came on the set, even the other actors were kind of awed that he was around.
Yeah, it was, well, I expected him to be aloof. I figured if you're that cool to 4 different generations, you'll have people talk about you, not to you. But the opposite was true. He was actually a screwball and a fuck off, which was hilarious. No one expected it. Like, one of the things stories I tell is that when he's on the stand in that scene, right, in the courtroom there, the director said action, he never missed a syllable. It was unbelievable.
Wow.
But as soon as the director said cut, he looked like he'd been stoned for 3 days. I swear I'd never seen an actor turn it on and off like that, Action, you need me on that wall. You want me on that wall. Cut. Robbie, where do I sit? Yeah, just holy shit. But you're right. When he walked on the set, every sphincter tightened. It was holy shit.
I can only
There's the man.
imagine.
And also, while we were shooting that, Magic Johnson was reported HIV positive during the production of A Few Good Men. So of course everyone goes to Jack, Mr. Laker, and says, "What the fuck does this mean?" And Jack would just sit back, and he was so fucking sad. I mean, it really crushed him. It was like, hookers, it's all hookers. Get off the plane, there's 3 waiting in the room. It's a miracle it never happened before. It's like,
That's
holy
a fucking good Nicholson, man.
That's a great.
That's a real Nicholson. That's not the fucking hack.
Over the
That's
top.
a real
Yeah,
Nicholson.
yeah. That's it.
Wow,
Well,
that's
it
a
was
conversational
It was
Nicholson.
those quiet moments that really freaked me out. Where I thought, he's being Nicholson. I mean, he's being a guy. It blew my shit away.
That must, as especially starting out as a comic, when you meet these people, it's got to be just.
Well, yeah, and the problem is I'd been doing him in my act, so when I'm working on the movie, all my friends, they didn't understand that I was having this ridiculously amazing opportunity experience, like being brought up to the majors. That's how I refer to that movie.
Yeah.
But my friends, all they were saying on the phone was, "Did you do Jack for Jack? You got to do it for him. You got to do it for him. He's gonna love it. He's gonna love it." My friends are dickheads. Yeah, they're idiots. Of course, I'm not going to do Jack. What, I'm going to be the 1 millionth dumbass in Nicholson's face saying, "This is what you sound like."
Imagine how many times he's seen that in front of his face. It's like, all right, another one.
I would never, when I'm around somebody that huge, like you mentioned, Casino, same thing with De Niro. When I'm around somebody that Mount Rushmore, I don't even talk to them. If they want to say something, I'd love to chat, but I'm not going to engage them for the fear of they're going to go, "Who get this prick away from me?" I don't.
Bob was a nice guy, though. De Niro, right?
Yeah. Yeah, very shy. Very shy.
Jimmy does it De Niro, by the way.
Oh, nice.
It's it's dead on.
Nice.
But it's not
I don't know
De
if he wants
Niro
to do
from
it
any
today.
movies or anything. It's the real De Niro, like if you see him at an event or when he doesn't have a script.
When he's trying to talk publicly, and he's just trying to his horrendous public speaking ability when he's trying to tie in something. Like what do you say? Like, if you're from New York, I rage.
breathing. It's so awkward in
Yeah,
public.
just like him.
It's just horrendous and everybody's uncomfortable. Like,
Really uncomfortable.
That is perfect. That really is. But you have to get those are the things. You get the little crazy nuances about these people.
Yeah,
That's to me, that's how, like Carvey was always amazing about finding the one little fucked up thing with the George Senior not getting that. You know, that little screwed up little.
Yeah, and
key.
it didn't have to. The voice didn't have to be the voice. It was just that little idiosyncracy. Yeah, that
I remember
it caught
being on the phone with him when he was doing the show, and he said, "I got to do Ross Perot this Saturday." And I said, "What? What are you going to fucking do?" He said, "I don't know." They gave me some tapes of him on Larry King. I'm supposed to watch. You know, no one had ever tried to do Ross at that point. And he said, "I'm going to watch these tapes." So we're talking on the phone, and by the end of the call, we both have an amazing Ross Perot impression. And I said, "This is fucked. You're going to become famous for doing Ross Perot on Saturday, and I'm just a dickwad doing your act."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's the screwy thing about doing those.
what's the best impression of any? Like, what is your favorite impression of anybody?
To hear someone else do?
Yeah, that somebody does. I think mine might be.
And the best one he enjoys doing.
My
too.
favorite one here might be Jay doing Colin. Because it's
Colin
such
Quinn.
a weird
Yeah,
one,
it's
and
a
I know
weird one.
Colin
That's
so well.
extraordinary.
That's an odd one
that's
to
a
do.
flawless,
It's an
creepy.
Or
amazing
Keitel,
Colin
yeah.
Quinn.
Yeah.
Yeah,
when he
Keitel is
and when he
ridiculous.
put Colin Quinn in Reservoir Dogs, that was just
Holy
fucking
shit.
brilliant.
Yeah,
it
But his
great.
thinking changes when he does Colin. Like, he starts to think like Colin.
like Colin.
That is the screwy thing. If you go Deep Space Nine with these, when I do Albert Brooks, I think faster and funnier than I do as myself. It's true. There's a possession weird thing
Very
that actually
odd.
Just
happens.
live like him.
Is it me? Am I crazy? I'm going to go lie down. Here's the thing. Oh, my God. Nemo. I got to stop saying it. But I would say, his Colin Quinn is sick, crazy, ridiculous. And it is one of those ones that it gets creepy funny.
Yeah.
And then Dave Coulier's Pesci is fucking ridiculous.
Really?
And his Super Dave Osborne is sick, ridiculous.
It's hard to find people that do a good Pesci. Like, you'll see a lot of the over-the-top ones that just yell stutter and prick 50 times, but you find a guy who really captures them.
Yeah.
You're like, I want to hear JFK Pesci. That's who I want to fucking hear. That's who I want to hear.
That's the creepy.
Describe your neck in the wig. Go.
Growing up, were you kind of a minor bird watching television all the time and doing imitations?
Yeah. Like the first one, I think whenever Columbo was first on, I would just try to make my mom laugh by crossing my eyes and saying, "I'm sorry, am I bothering you? What's the problem?" And then I did that on Carson, and I ran into Peter Falk like in a grocery store in L.A., and he said, "How do you do that with your eyes?" Me, I understand, but how do you do that? Plays great on radio. I'm moving the one eye. But I taught Carson to do my next time on. I taught him how to cross just one eye, because he was kind of fascinated by it. And they said in the pre-interview, they said, "Can you teach Johnny how to do the eye?" I said, "Yeah, shut up." So, but then how about this? This is what really, to me, typifies why Carson can never be replaced and why.
You're talking about Carson Daly, right?
I am a yeah. Please. I thought that was fairly obvious.
And you mentioned talk show host,
legendary Carson Daly.
Can't be replaced. You think of Carson Daly for sure. So that's hilarious. So I taught him to do the Columbo thing, right? And then whenever he brought me on to do the show, probably another 20 times before he retired over.
Jeez, how many Johnnies did you do? Not to interrupt your story.
A couple dozen.
Fuck, man.
Well, because he liked impressions.
Unbelievable.
He liked impressions. He did them himself, and it was like a parlor trick kind of thing to him.
Yeah.
And so he would introduce the guests. Right, they'd come out from his left, and you would pass in front of his desk, and for a second you'd have your back to the audience while he stood at his desk. Unlike Leno, who dances out behind the desk, "Hey, how's it going?" and hug you bullshit. The king would stay at his throne, and you would pass in front of him and lean over sometimes and shake his hand on your way to the seat on his right. And so in that little 3-second moment where your back is to the audience, I'm saying every time I did the show, after that first time I taught him how to do the eye, he would lean over the desk, cross his eyes, and say, "I'm sorry to bother you." And it took me years to realize what he was doing in that moment was making me feel like $1 million as I'm sitting down in arguably the most nerve-wracking situation of the year.
Oh, shit.
How
Yeah,
fucking
yeah.
genius is that, though?
Yeah, yeah.
Seriously.
Did you finally just go, all right, I get it.
Yeah.
You can do the...
Yeah.
Towards the end, they said, you've got to bust Johnny's chops a little because you've been on enough now. Now you're comfortable. He's comfortable. You got to do Carson for Carson. And I said, you can go fuck yourself. That is never going to happen, ever.
That would have to be a tense moment.
There's a little too much reverence there. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what his genius was, Carson? I'm sorry to interrupt you, but before we go off Carson, was that you never realized that he had been pre-informed. Like, because he would say something like, I understand you were in Aruba.
Yes.
And I never once thought, how the fuck would he know that? That fucking set up for a stupid story that they did through a phone fucking pre-interview. Never once did I understand that that's what had happened. That's how great he was at that.
He would often, now somebody told me, he would often say that. And that was the only time I fucked with him was one time on the show. He said, now somebody told me. And I said, who told you? Never mind. I did have that moment. I did get that moment.
That was a perfect head movement. Never mind. That was exactly a great Johnny head movement.
Yeah, never mind who said
He
it.
did have that.
Yeah.
It is all, and the only experience I ever had like that was that time with Dice.
Yeah.
When we first met Dice, and I had done a Dice impression for years.
Nice.
And he actually...
Well, that's why he was on the show, because he heard
Yeah.
how great Ant's Dice was.
Right, right.
That's how we connected.
He actually started, I was getting on him, Hey, jerk-off face, I don't need this garbage from you. And
Oh, my God.
he sat there, and he goes, he actually said to me, he goes, I'm not going to argue with me. That's fantastic, having Dice say that to you.
That is
I'm not going to argue with
He
me.
also said, you do me better than me.
Yeah,
or something
yeah.
like that.
Yeah, you do me
do.
better than I do me.
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
You do. I mean, you get the certain rhythms, and it becomes like... Because the person, sometimes they'll drift away from the core.
Yeah.
And the impression is just the core.
You'll have to, it's almost like you kind of got to make a face and body movements to actually get it
absolutely.
down. And sometimes I've picked up an impression by not ripping somebody off, but you can listen to the actual person and not be able to get it.
Yeah.
And then if you see someone else do an impression for a second, you're like, that's how you do it.
Yeah.
It's a weird thing, yeah.
Yeah, you learned. Oh, we're totally geeking out on impressions.
This is awesome.
What's the one you're most proud of that you like? Not necessarily has to be your best, but the one you're like, I picked out this trait that I'm so happy I
that
fucking
no one
grabbed.
else
Yeah,
probably
like,
did,
is there a trait you picked out of somebody that...
The only one I do, I think, that I've never heard anyone else do is Alan Arkin. And so
Wow.
that's the sort of offbeat, weird one that people are like, why would you do that?
Yeah.
Does that work in Kansas City when you do Alan Arkin?
Well, you were the
Alan
first
Barkin?
one.
Exactly.
I want to hear Alan Arkin.
Alan Barkin.
I don't understand. There's royal people and they're waiting. She's got flowers. Who is this girl?
It's so good.
Oh, that's
By the way, I don't understand the uniform. Has he ever held a gun in his life? I mean, why is he dressed up like a general? This is very strange to me.
That's awesome.
This kid from...
Wow.
Oh, that's great.
Shit.
Absolutely.
Wow. I
But it's
never
a
heard
little nuance.
I never heard
That's great.
anybody though do Shatner. Like everyone now does your version of Shatner.
Well,
with
yeah.
the overpronounced dramatic pauses and the throwing himself into.
First of all, can you believe he turned 81?
I know. When you see him, he looks great.
I mean, we should all be kicking life in the sack that hard at 81.
Yeah,
It's truly
yeah.
unbelievable.
He's unbelievable.
I mean, he's blown up like a poisoned dog. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, he looks like Jerry
By the
Lewis.
way, if you can't eat carbs when you're 80, fuck life. You know what I'm saying?
You might as well.
When I get to, if I get to 81, I'm going to I'll have the pie. I'll have the pie and a glass of pie.
Of course. Jimmy does a great, another great impression. You want to do your Alan Alda for Kevin Pollack?
I don't want to put
I like to show off.
Two masters going back and forth.
Amy, could you talk Jimmy into a meeting?
I love a good Alan Alda.
All right.
Loves Alan Alda.
This is amazing. Close your eyes for
It's
that.
short.
All right. Yes. That's my whole... No, come on. Come on.
He was in the room.
That's why you got the big show in Seattle.
That was more Woody Allen-ish.
He was in the room.
Oh, that was great.
Antisocial Seattle. Let's not forget.
Oh, yeah, tickets on sale today, by the way, at 10 o'clock Seattle time for myself, Brewer, Attell, and Bill Burr, July the 1st. That will sell out because BJ Shea is promoting it. And
Nice.
Kevin also, by the way,
Oh, yeah.
if you're in New York, is going to be at Caroline's tonight and tomorrow, 2 shows each night. 212-757-4100. Kevin is great, man.
Oh, yeah.
Really funny dude.
Oh, thanks, man.
And it's funny, I knew you as I mean, we have never met before, but I knew who you were as an actor before I even knew you were a comic many years ago, which is a real sign of respect. Like, Rod Reyes his brother was Rick Aviles, who was in Ghost.
Oh, yeah.
And died of AIDS, and he was a drug user, and he, I don't know why I had to throw that in.
Yeah, nice, happy
just to
story.
prove that I knew something about him. But he was a comic, and I didn't even know he was a comic. And he's like, man, that would have made Rick so happy that somebody thought he was an actor before a comic.
Yeah.
And then I said, all right, we're done talking.
Good timing.
Yeah.
It is
your part.
it is kind of weird and great and amazing, and yet I definitely think of myself as a comic first, without question.
Yeah.
I still feel like a poser when I'm on a set of a movie. I really do.
Do you feel like I shouldn't
Yeah,
be here?
I'm not kidding. It's not humble pie bullshit. I keep waiting the first 2 weeks for somebody to tap me on the shoulder and say, "We've made a horrible error." Yeah, we're on to you. You really don't know what you're doing.
The good thing is, though, when I watch your movies, I don't think like, oh, there's Kevin Pollack, the comic,
Not at all.
impressionist, because you really do pull it off. I don't know how you bullshit these people.
I don't
you
either.
do pull it off.
I mean,
it's amazing.
you know how it is for some comedians. I think you're more comfortable on stage than we are in life. There's that because you're in control or whatever the fuck it is. I don't know, but there's something about being comfortable in front of an audience, and that's all it was. When I got on set to do the first movie, I was just comfortable in front of the camera. Nothing really about that bothered me or tripped me out or anything. So that was it. And then on A Few Good Men, there was a great character actor who passed away, J.T. Walsh.
Oh, fuck,
yeah, man.
Fucking genius, right?
Yeah,
He was
it's great.
great.
And so he sees me doing the thing, and he starts telling me, you're doing good work. And I said, I swear, I'm like confessional now. I said, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, honestly. This is like number 8 for me, and I don't know if there's going to be a number 9. And he said, no, what you're doing is actually a technique called less is more. You're just kind of throwing it away, that's the best stuff. When you never get caught acting.
That's what we
that
do
way.
every day on this show.
Right?
Yeah.
Less is a
Phone
lot
it
more.
in
Yes.
every day.
Phone that fucker right in.
But it's it's you get out of your own way kind of bullshit. That's all. I don't know if you ever played golf or anything. It's like the harder you try, the worse you fucking are. It's the same thing.
When
My
you
favorite-
finally decide after the first hole to say fuck it.
Yes, I'll have a beer instead.
Son of
and,
a bitch! I suck at this game.
Yeah.
My favorite thing in Casino was an odd thing that Sharon Stone did. Her fucking I'm a loud drunken whore run.
Yes.
That run she did when she was wobble walk running, it was the fucking greatest wobble.
great.
What a
It's the
fucking
best work.
Be careful.
I've been there.
Yeah.
Be careful. That line is great. Be careful.
Yeah.
It's trying to make it like everything's cool.
God.
Best work by a million miles for her.
Wow, was
Yeah,
she
yeah.
great?
By a
in
million
that?
miles.
Really good. Yeah,
Sure,
that's
sure.
the whole movie. And those are the movies that it doesn't matter. You're going through the channels, bop, it's on. The
That's
remote
it.
goes
That's
right on
it.
the couch,
Yeah.
and you're watching no matter where you come in on it.
Yeah.
That's
Pack a lunch. It's not a short film. And the soundtrack is unfucking believable.
Yeah, yeah,
Again,
yep.
he's so great at that.
Yeah.
The first 45 minutes with the double voiceover between Pesci and
Oh, yeah,
De
it's
Niro is
fantastic, man.
sick crazy as they tell you how they made Vegas. Fuck.
And it doesn't seem like a forced, okay, we got to spoon feed the audience with
Right.
the voiceover.
Yeah, the
It's just
exposition
very
of that.
natural.
Yeah.
My
favorite part
We're
of
actually
that-
selling that Casino was a good
Yeah.
movie. Wow, we're really out on a
You
limb
guys
here.
discovered it.
It's like an indie film that we found.
We like discovering new things, We pass it along to the
You're
audience.
here to promote Casino, right?
In theaters 12 years ago.
I just want people to get a chance to see it. I gotta tell you, watching Don Rickles rip into De Niro on the set was maybe one of my
Oh,
favorite
really?
moment in my history of show business.
We love Rickles.
Well, first of all, Rickles tells me that he found out that De Niro kind of, ever since he was a kid, was in like a put-down group on the street corners growing up. Your mother this, your mother that. And to them, Rickles was God. So Rickles tells me he knows that De Niro worships him, basically. So Rickles, of course, Rickles just can't wait to get on the set in front of everyone. So I'm telling you, in the middle of a take, we're on the casino floor standing next to each other, and De Niro is saying his dialogue. Cameras rolling, Scorsese's watching, hundreds of extras on the casino floor. De Niro is speaking his dialogue. In the middle of it, Rickles would say, "Is that it? Is that how you're going to do it? Like that?" No, you got the awards. I'm sure you know what you're doing. Go ahead. and De Niro is weeping with laughter. He can't fucking believe how hilarious this is. I mean, just literally like crying with that big De Niro face. And just every chance he got, there was another big scene where Alan King's character presents my character with a giant mock-up check for
Right.
60-something million to build a casino, right? So there are these dais tables and a little podium, and I'm sitting there, and Rickles and Alan King, and we're waiting for De Niro to join us to shoot the shot. And there's like 100 extras portraying the press corps that are capturing this moment. And they're standing around, milling around while we're waiting. Well, Rickles has got a captive audience, so he starts hammering these extras. What do you make, $40 a day in bad fish off a truck? Good for you. And he's just hammering them, and they're loving it, and everybody's laughing.
Sure.
He goes off for maybe 15 minutes, and finally he settles down into the chair, and he's just sitting there for a second. And just then De Niro walks on the set, and Rickles lunges back at the microphone, pointing at the extras, saying, "All right, which one of you said he's gay? He's here now." And again, De Niro just stops, makes the face, and he's laughing like a fucking child. It was sick, incredible.
Is there a line that Rickles had about him? Because he was talking about how boring De Niro was. He was fucking with him, and he said I watched a fly die on his face. Is that Rickles' line?
Yeah, that sounds right. Pesci did not like it, by the way.
Really?
No, didn't care for it. Because Rickles would literally go after him in front of 300 extras, and it was just too... Oh, he said to... I think he said to Pesci, he was so short that he was going to ride him around the set like a Shetland pony.
Yeah, I can see
Pesci just
Hollywood
did
like
not
that.
smile and said, yeah, no, I get it. I'm a midget and you're a genius. Go fuck yourself. But I mean, he was serious. He wasn't going for, oh God, that was odd. That was a quiet moment.
Holy shit.
Yeah,
Wow,
yeah.
why didn't he? How would you?
Exactly. How do you not?
It's
feel-
Rickles.
Yeah.
All he does is attack people.
Yeah. No, it was a tremendous.
Yeah.
Hanging out with him probably was my favorite part of the whole experience, to be honest with you.
Amazing,
Rickles, because you talk about Mount Rushmore, forget it. Sure. That's it.
Was he thrown by Pesci's snub, or he didn't give a fuck?
Oh no, he kept going after him.
Yeah, you could just tell.
The more
at that
Joe
point.
fought it, the
Great.
harder he came after him.
You know what? If you're not afraid to attack Sinatra in the
Exactly.
fucking late 50s and early 60s,
Exactly.
you
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
care about Pesci.
Yeah.
He really didn't. We played on I loved his fucking going after Reagan at the
Oh,
inaugural.
that's genius. My favorite too.
There's never been a harder audience than 10,000 people at Reagan's inauguration, and he went out and he murdered.
Yes. Yeah, he's as fearless, I believe, as any comedian's ever been in history. I really
Yeah,
do.
it's
I really do.
we all talk shit, but he would do
Right.
it to Sinatra when the mob was in the audience. Just absolute balls on Rickles.
making mob jokes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's amazing, man.
Is he looking? He would always say that. Is he looking over here?
Alan King was great too.
Yeah, well, not to Rickles. Rickles did not suffer Alan King well at all.
Really?
What do you mean?
Yeah.
Well, he would just say, did he mention the Kennedys? He would just go after him like, oh, he's pals with him. He's hanging out like a Kenny Buckport, this kid. Yep. He really went after him.
Alan King?
Also. Yeah. You could tell there was like an old rivalry or something.
Something
between
going
them.
on
Yeah,
there.
It was cool.
Old
It was
school.
actually cool.
Yeah.
Because we all went out to dinner and Rickles was just put out the whole time. It was hilarious.
Wow.
So
damn.
De Niro loved being teased. in
Loved
front-
it.
in front of everybody.
Loved it because he loved Rickles more than God. It was unbelievable. I mean, Rickles was right. He had worshipped him his whole life, which is a bizarre connection.
That
You'd
is kind of odd,
You'd
yeah.
never connect those dots, but apparently De Niro told someone. He said, "You don't understand. When I was a kid, this was a guy, and they would hang out on the street corner." And there was either a doo-wop group or a put-down group. Those were the two peer groups in De Niro's day, and one was, singing songs. The other one was your mother this, your mother. And so Rickles was everything to them. So to be attacked by the king
Right.
made him the happiest guy on the planet. And he would put his arm around Don like this, like his own father. It was really cool.
And nobody ever, a guy like De Niro never gets teased
Never.
in front of people.
I'm
Never.
telling you, every sphincter tightens. Nobody says, "Oh, there he is, there he is." That's all people
That's
say when
legendary.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's yeah.
It was like literally the single number one on the list of who should Rickles not attack. That's what everyone's thinking, and then there he goes.
Then again, after you've gone after Sinatra and Reagan, it really there's What do you do after that to fucking impress Don
There's
Rickles?
no one you can't
It's
go
probably like a fresh catch for Rickles. It's like, how do I top myself?
Yeah,
I'll
yeah.
go after De Niro. This will
And
be
he
fun.
and he's like one of the only people that could get away with saying anything to
So
anybody.
again, if you get a chance, see Casino.
Yes.
And
Yes,
Rickles,
Casino's fantastic.
Rickles is to Stardust September 11th through the 17th.
But he would brutalize Carson on Carson. He would brutalize him.
Oh, yeah,
And Ed brutalize him. No one did that. No one attacked Reynolds or Burt Reynolds when he was on fucking Tonight. I love watching those old fucking clips.
I watched the old clips of Carson. I wound up buying one of those sets. They're amazing to watch. The guys out there smoking, drinking.
Yeah.
Like Dean Martin had come to sit down, and they're just drinking and smoking out there. It's like, no one can do that anymore.
Yeah, it's pretty
What'll
great.
the children think? Who gives a shit? These guys didn't care.
No, they really didn't.
No. You also have a very well put together podcast.
Oh, thanks, man.
It's on
Thanks.
Ustream, I think you're on, right?
Yeah, we go live every Sunday, and it's long form, one-on-one kind of Charlie Rose with a sense of
It's
humor.
great. It looks really good and
thanks.
sounds good. Because I mean, out of 10,000 webcasts,
I know.
you can get maybe one that looks and sounds good.
Yeah.
Fuck the content. I'm just saying something that doesn't look like a 1995 webcam.
Yeah.
You know. So and I checked out a few episodes, and it's really well done.
Oh, thanks.
Search it out on
Thanks very
Ustream.
much.
Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah.
What any movies coming up? Or
Well, there's Red State, of course,
Yeah.
and then another one, a big stupid studio comedy, but it's got pretty good. It's Steve Martin, Jack Black, Owen Wilson, and Rashida Jones, and Angelica Houston, Diane Weiss, Joel McHale. They couldn't get anybody.
Jesus
Yeah.
Christ, Jesus.
And the same guy that directed Devil Wears Prada, and so it's called The Big Year. And that's about the exciting world of bird watching.
Oh, yeah, I heard
Holy-
about that.
Yeah,
It sounds
see, it's funny
awesome.
already.
The exciting world.
You've heard of this, Amy?
Yeah, Steve Martin did my, I should have said that. Steve Martin did my Fuse show, and he was talking about how he did that movie. And he said it was awesome. He's like, big bluegrass guy. And
Huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, the strangest thing ever happened. I ended up playing Carnegie Hall because of Steve Martin was doing this James Taylor 120th year anniversary show.
Yeah.
And, Steve was talking to his old friend James, and James said he wanted to do some kind of tribute to Lenny Bruce, because, again, it was the 120th anniversary of the Carnegie Hall. So I get this email from Steve Martin saying, because we just did the movie, we don't really hang out or anything. He just, sort of reached out. It was
What's his email
fucking
address?
incredible. Larry King 1 at AOL.com. And so he says, I talked to James Taylor, and he's looking to do something for Lenny Bruce, and I told him you could probably impersonate Lenny if he wanted that. So good luck if he calls you. And it's one of those things like every actor, when you meet with the director, the old joke is if the director says, can you ride a horse? You say, hell yes, I have a saddle in my trunk.
Right.
Yeah, what do you need? So sure enough, fucking James Taylor calls. I instantly shit myself, and he says, so man, can you do this thing? And I'm like, of course, you kidding?
Sure.
I've been doing Lenny for 30 years. I had never done Lenny Bruce. I hadn't even thought about doing Lenny Bruce. There's almost no video of him because they wanted to do it from the early days, not the later days when he hated everything, was hanging on the microphone. I made a point of not watching Dustin Hoffman because that was ridiculous. So I was like, how the fuck? And there's 2 appearances of him on Steve Allen's show. I just memorized that. But Steve Martin was there, as you said, doing his banjo stuff. Paying tribute to Scuggs, and the other guy is
Flat.
Yes, nice pull. Thank you. Who created the 5-finger pick and
Yeah.
Foggy
And the
Mountain
Beverly
Breakdown?
Hillbillies theme song.
There you go.
Flat
at
and
that.
Scruggs.
Wow.
Yeah, it's great. His
I watched a lot
band.
of television.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, his band is amazing, and in between the banjo, you have to tune after every song, so he does stand-up in between each song, and it was hilarious,
Yeah.
his stand-up.
He's hilarious without even trying, this guy. It's ridiculous.
He was like, what did he say? He was tuning his banjo, and he's like, I only write songs about things I care about. So this next song's called Minimum Wage. Let's keep her right where she's at. He killed me.
Yeah, no, his stand-up is crazy hip, and same thing
It's
between his
great.
songs. He shocks the hell out of you.
Bird watching.
Yeah, right? The exciting world.
It's funny, the only bird watching movie I ever really enjoyed was The Woodsman.
Twisted ass.
What a
Today I saw a parrot. Anyone is? Yellow belly sapsucker.
Oh, man.
I think it's
time.
well time to wrap this up.
Fellas, let me just say I'm a huge fan, and this was a thrill for me. It's been a long time, and I miss doing the show and seeing you, and I'm a huge fan.
Well, let's do it again.
Yeah, absolutely.
In fact, I can't believe I didn't bring up the. You guys were talking about Independence Day 3 or 4 weeks ago.
Oh my God!
And how I'd been ragging on Hirsch, how he sent my people back 50 fucking years.
It was horrible.
Hawking the president for a cracker on Air Force One, and you guys were going after him and going, "This is it.
Look at this."
Yeah,
You'd all be dead if it wasn't for my son David.
Right.
Yeah.
What is this? Jeez.
I couldn't believe you were hawking. It was beautiful.
Yeah.
They didn't want to harp on the fact he was building a settlement on Air Force One. We get it, Judd.
Anyways, this was the thrill for me. Thanks.
Well, we'll
thank
have Kevin
you,
back,
man.
that's
It's
for sure.
fantastic.
Caroline's tonight and tomorrow.
Yes.
Kevin Pollack, 212-757-4100. It's going to kill, obviously.
If
So
you
if
get a
you're in the
chance,
area,
if you get a
go
chance,
to
see
Caroline's.
Casino.
Yeah.
Casino. If you
New
have time this
movie.
weekend.
It's opening Friday. Next Friday. It's great.
And
And Schumer.
and Amy's
Amy.
the very, very funny Amy Schumer.
And lovely.
And lovely, of course,
Yeah.
but
Sexy.
doesn't matter on iTunes. It's all funny.
Vivacious.
It's called
Exploitable.
Cutting
Beatable. Molestable.
on iTunes.
Rappable.
Rappable. Yes, very rappable.
You can pick up a copy of Despicable, and you can pick up
Oh, yes.
Cutting.
Cutting is
And we
Amy's
find
CD.
out in the last track, I believe, why it's called Cutting.
I know what it
She
means.
really teased
And if
us
you
like
buy
that.
both Jimmy and my CD at the same time, we'll come to your house and fist you.
You get a bulk
It's a
deal
deal.
and a
Yeah.
It's a
fisting.
great deal.
Even if you don't.
Wonderful. Yeah.
Just lock your doors. Lock your doors.
And Jimmy, what do you got, brother?
Just Seattle going on sale today. Myself, Attell Brewer, Bill Burr, July 1st. I forget what theater it is, but just go to tickets.com. And BJ Shea is sponsoring our show, so I think that will sell very well.
Very good.
And we're on sale in D.C. May 13th.
Well, I think it's have a nice weekend time.
let's do
to
it.
tell you the truth.
Thank you.
Get the weekend started. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you. Thanks, Amy.
Thank you.
This is the Opie and Anthony Show.